Just at a reunion of fast pitch softball players.
Right.
And you saw probably some friends you hadn't seen in a while.
Yep.
What was your take on the night? What was your feeling about it all?
Oh, it was just nice to see everybody, and it was, you know, I hadn't seen some of them for years, and it was just fun to see everybody.
During that time period, well, let's go back. You're such a great athlete, Bob. Was it natural that did your mom or dad, were they into athletics a lot?
No, not at all.
Tell me a little bit about your mom and dad.
My dad was an electrician
Okay.
in town, worked for himself, and my mother was worked at the worsted mills,
Okay.
Jamestown worsted mills, earlier, and then she didn't work after that.
How many kids did you have? How many
I
siblings?
had two. I had a boy and a girl.
Right. So you're about brothers and sisters.
I had two sisters.
Were they athletic like you?
No, not at all.
Well, how did you become such a great athlete, Bob? What do you figure? It's not in your genes, according to your mom
No,
and dad, and
I
it's not
know.
your sisters.
I don't know. I just loved it when I was young, and I just started playing in the D League, and when they had the D League and
Yeah.
C and B and A, and I just got into that, and I just loved to play, and I watched the major leagues a lot, you know.
Where did you grow up, Bob, in the city here? Where was home?
60 Elam Avenue.
Okay, so on the
Yeah.
south side.
Yeah, just a block from where I live now.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, well, the Allen Park Women's Club and all of that stuff, Bob,
Yeah, yeah.
And so where did you go to school then? Did you go to Rogers?
Rogers.
Rogers.
Yeah.
And then Jefferson?
Jefferson. Yeah.
And then the high school.
Then the high school. Right.
What year did you graduate from the high school?
1955.
Was there a sport that you sort of gravitated towards, or did you do like everybody else?
I liked baseball a lot, but I always had sore arm when I tried to pitch. I pitched, but when my arm was good, I pitched pretty good, but I always had problem with sore arms, you know,
Right.
since I was a kid.
Were there little leagues at the time, Bob?
No, it was D and C and B and A leagues
Okay. And they were based on age or ability?
on age.
Age,
Yeah.
okay. And so then when you got to high school, did you play all the major sports, you know, basketball, football?
I didn't play football. I played basketball and baseball
Okay.
and volleyball.
So that was a sport then.
Yeah.
Who were some of your teammates at the time, Bob?
George Parsons and Bob Eklund and Fred Lindstrom and Ray Junta. That was the starting five in the basketball team.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of the high school baseball players, do you remember them?
Yeah, Jack Fulford and George Parsons and I can't think of them all now, but that's two of them that I come right off my
Who
mind.
were your coaches, Bob? Who was the high school basketball coach and
High school
baseball coach?
basketball was Rollin Taft, and baseball coach was Alan Ayers. Yeah.
So I'm reading this now, Bob, from your Sports Hall of Fame. It says, after leaving junior high school, Jefferson, Winterburn went on to tremendous accomplishments at JHS. He joined the baseball club as a freshman,
Yeah.
and as a sophomore won the Lake Shore League batting and pitching titles
Yeah.
in 1953. He hit 500 right on the button and compiled a 3-0 mark as the Red Raiders won the championship. Do you remember much about those years?
Yeah. I know I was pretty young. I felt real young when I was playing, but I remember playing that.
Do you remember? I mean, here you are playing as a freshman and a sophomore. Did the seniors and juniors get upset that you were?
No, they didn't seem to. No, they took it right along with what was going on there.
And then in the next year, Winterburn sparked Coach Walt Colburn's club to a 15-1 and the first Section 6 Class AA title since 1949 by beating Kenmore. The following year, Winterburn regained the Lakeshore League pitching title with a 4-0 record and had 2 shutouts, including a 15 strikeout 9-0 game over Dunkirk. You were good.
I guess so.
Well, did you have an out pitch, Bob? Was there something that?
No, I just had I had a knuckleball, and not many people had a knuckleball when they were that young, you know.
How did you learn that?
I don't know how I learned it, but I just practiced it, and there used to be guys that used to throw knuckleballs in the major leagues, and I kind of followed them, like, you know, I mean, I kind of liked that, so I tried it. And Don Sunlove used to throw.
Don Sunlove,
You remember Don Sunlove?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, he used to throw a knuckleball, and
Well, of course, in the major leagues at the time, Hoyt Wilhelm,
yeah,
he was
Yeah.
well known for his
yeah,
knuckleball.
that's right. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite baseball team that you watched?
Yeah, I liked the Cleveland Indians when I was growing up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did your family go to the games? You know,
My dad wasn't really a big sports fan, and my mother wasn't, of course. But I was a pretty big sports fan. So I went to some games with friends, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Randy Anderson just got a baseball.
I want to see your grip on your knuckleball, Bob. I want to know how you
Okay.
held it.
I used to hold it like this,
Let me see.
2 fingers.
2 fingers on the seam. Okay.
Yeah, and then I push it, you know. When I push and throw both at the same time, you know.
That's right, yeah.
You push and throw it.
It's the damnedest looking pitch. When we used to have a guy in Buffalo, Bison, Tim Wakefield, who went on to the major leagues.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so I was able to get access to the field, and I filmed him throwing a knuckleball.
Yeah.
And it's the damnedest thing because it's just it's a push.
Yeah.
It's not a
It's a push, yeah.
Yeah.
Push and throw. You got to throw, and
yeah.
then you push, you know.
Incredible. So that really was your distinguishing pitch.
Yeah.
Who was your catcher at the time? Because that's a hard thing to catch.
Geez, I don't even remember.
Well,
A high school catcher?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you were clearly dominant.
Jeez, I don't even remember that. I don't even remember that.
Well, all right,
That's terrible.
Well,
I hope you don't hear about it.
Well, we'll fill this in. Randy Anderson will fill this in. And then I'm going to continue to read. That same year, the Raiders captured another league crown with a 9-1 record. Winterburn batted .360 while dividing duties between the mound and first base for a club which averaged nearly 11 runs an inning. Holy cow.
Not an inning.
Not an inning.
Oh, sorry, per outing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it must be a
Thank you.
game, yeah.
Fast reading. Per outing, 11 runs a game, my gosh.
Yeah.
Were you considered a power hitter, Bob?
No, not really. I used to hit a lot of line drives. I was more of a line drive hitter, like, and get a ball through the infield and on the ground, and I used to make pretty good contact, you know. I didn't strike out much, so I always made contact with the ball.
Were you a right-handed batter, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it said, further reading, beside baseball, Winterburn excelled in basketball and was named to the All-Western New York All-Star team as a senior. Not very many Jamestown or Chautauqua County players have ever been bestowed with that honor. Wow. Was that logical when you went from baseball to basketball? What was the transition as far as just being in shape? It's kind of different coordinations.
Well, you have to be a little I always thought you had to be a little better shape for basketball, but I don't know. You got to be in shape for both of them, really. But
Yeah.
basketball is really a more physical sport, you know.
Mhm.
But
Then 6'6", Bob Winterburn. Did you play? Were you as?
I wasn't that tall.
Well, what position did you play as a basketball player? Were you a forward?
Forward, yeah.
And it said you didn't go to college, but you toured the country as a member of the bearded House of David basketball team from 1957 to 60. And the House of David was known as the world's most colorful basketball club. How did you get involved with the House of David?
Well, in 1957, I was playing at the Y, and Bobby Roth, who was the coach of the House of David basketball team,
Ah,
he saw me play, and they needed a person to play, so he asked me if I'd play, and I went. Play.
how does it work? I mean, the idea is to have a beard. Was it a fake beard?
Well, I had a hard time growing a beard because I was only 18. I didn't have a very heavy beard.
But you had to actually have a beard, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think the House of David, for anybody who's going to watch this, they would not know. It was sort of a religious aspect to it.
Yeah.
So, what did they have to educate you a little bit about on what it was?
No, actually, we didn't have anything to do with it. None of the players had anything to do with the religion at all. It was just the name that they used. Benton Harbor, Michigan, it was at.
Yeah.
House of David. And they just used the name for, so people would know the name.
So it was a franchise.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you were touring, you'd see the posters, House of David versus somebody. Was there a program of educational program that went with it? Aside from the basketball game, was there more?
No.
Just an exhibition game?
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the college players who played with you?
Bobby Roth played, he was a coach and manager. He was from Michigan, but he played with, can't think of the college in Michigan now. It's a small college. But he was 45 when he ended up playing.
No kidding. Where did they recruit players from? All over the country?
Mostly East Coast.
Right.
Yeah, because they were in the East Coast mostly, you know, and we didn't travel with any like a House of David like with the Harlem Globetrotters or anybody like that. So they picked up players from seeing them play, and if they needed somebody, we only traveled with 5 guys.
Oh, is that right? So
Yeah.
Wow.
5 guys and Bobby Roth, or
No, 5 altogether.
Oh my gosh.
Including Bobby Roth.
So nobody got hurt. Nobody could get hurt.
Nobody got hurt when I played. No, not
Nobody
at
fouled out either.
all. No.
Did you feel like it was a real competitive game, or was there a lot of
No, it was
fun
a
and
competitive game.
Competitive game.
Yeah. And we played in all the Army bases and a lot of the Army bases in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and so there was a lot of good teams, a lot of good players them years, you know.
Were you generally victorious in your games? I mean,
Yeah,
was your
we-
team considered better than who you were playing against?
Usually, yeah. We lost 20 games, I think, played 120 games and lost 20.
Wow.
So, we had a pretty good record.
So what was the season, Bob? I mean, it said 57 to 60. Did you go out for like 3 months or 5 months? How was that?
It was 57 to about 61, and we used to go. We'd start in last part of October and play until almost April.
What did your parents think when you, at the age of 18, said, hey, I'm going to go tour the country with a basketball team, but I got to grow a beard?
They liked that.
They liked it?
They were afraid I couldn't grow a beard, though, you know. And I had a hard time growing a beard.
Yeah. Now, your competition, was it normally local?
Yeah, it was like the Y team, and
Yeah.
you know, and there was a lot of good players because there were some ex-college players that played, you know, and so we had good. And Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and those Army teams, they were good, you know. Then they were really good.
Did you play like every night? So you went kind of
Every night
get in a car? Was it a car, a van? How was that?
we went like a van.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only five players.
And you guys had a game here in Jamestown at one time, right?
Yeah,
Or
we had
more than once?
two or three games, I think.
What do you remember about that? And who were you playing against? And
We played against the Y team, and because the Y team used to have a good team some days. Leo Corkery played on them, and we played. Gary Clark played on one of the teams, but Gary was younger than Leo. But that was we played all them teams.
So when you come home, most people probably didn't even recognize you with.
Well, I
attempted beard.
didn't have a very heavy beard. I was 18. I had a lot of trouble growing a beard.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I just had a little peach fuzz.
what did you do the rest of the year? Now you're out playing basketball
Well,
from October to April. What are you doing in the
My
off-season?
dad was an electrical business, so I worked for my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you, in the off-season, did you also get involved, because especially during the summer, is this when some of the softball became part of your world? You know, did you play early on?
Baseball more.
Baseball?
Baseball more than when I was young.
Okay.
I didn't start playing softball till I got done playing baseball. Really.
So baseball, was there muni leagues then? What was the type
Yeah,
of
it
league?
was a Muni AA league there,
Okay.
they called it, yeah.
Who'd you play for?
I played for Art Metal, and Art Metal mainly, because when I came back, I worked at Art Metal a little bit, and then I'd go and then I'd come back again and work again at Art Metal, and they let me do that. So
Let me ask a dumb question, because we know several players were really good athletes like you, were hired by industries like Art Metal and others, basically to play.
yeah,
Were you one of those guys?
no, no, I wasn't.
Yeah. I think of Worsted Mills and those guys, they just,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think they did that when I played. That was
Okay.
before I played.
okay, maybe,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the steel partition
yeah,
bombers.
yeah.
They used to get all the ringers to
They do. They used
come and
to-
work for
Yeah,
them.
they did. Yeah, I didn't know of anybody else that did that, but
Okay.
I remember the Steel Partition did that.
Yeah,
Monterocco did, I guess, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was before me.
So when you came back and played in hardball, where did you play most of your games? You know, the hardball games. Were they at the stadium?
Down
Were
the
they
stadium.
Allen Park?
Allen Park and the stadium, yeah.
Okay. Was Roseland Park at that time just a softball field?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think they had, I think it was a baseball field, too, on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're playing at those two fields. How many teams would be in a league in the Muni League? Was it 8, 10, or how did it work?
There was about eight teams, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play a couple nights a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were some of the better players in the league at the same time you were playing?
And
In the Muni AA
Muni
League?
Oh, there was. I can't think now. Well, there was Steel Partition Bombers. They had Bender and the Benders and what's his name that used to pitch for the Brown?
Walt Brown?
Walt Brown, yeah, I had Walt Brown and
Was Kenny Martin playing
Kenny
then?
Martin played, yeah. Kenny was good. I played with Kenny. He was older than me, but he played when I played.
How about Art Asquith? Was he playing
Art
back
Asquith
then?
played, yeah. Uh-huh.
And Jack Fulford, was he?
Jack
part of-
Fulford, yeah. Yep. Jack was my age, so we played in high school together, Jack and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you played in the Muni League, were you pitching, or did you have? an
I
arm?
was pitching.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to always have a sore arm. All the time. I even made a pad like they put on my arm when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah. To keep it warm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd pitch and I'd have a sore arm for about 3 days and then it'd be all right again.
Did you ever get on any of the traveling teams at all, Bob? This is during the Muni League baseball time period. Did you travel at all?
No. I played in Bustye too. They had a league in Bustye and
Yeah.
I played down there for the Bustye team. And I played quite a bit of baseball.
What point did you say, enough of baseball, let's do softball?
I think I was about 30, maybe 32 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I played for Warren Beverage too. Warren
Right.
Beverage had a great team. Warren Beverage had a great team.
So did you decide on your own that you were going to quit playing baseball and switch to softball? Or did some guy say, hey, Bob, can you come and play on our softball team?
No, I kind of decided I was going to quit baseball because I used to have a sore arm and I kind of lost interest in it, and I always have a sore arm
Right.
so I got into softball and I played fast pitch softball. Then they started a modified league, and then I pitched modified, and I went to a lot of tournaments. We won a lot of tournaments, and a warm team we had in that. And I pitched that, and sometimes I'd pitch like 4 games a day,
Wow.
just because I keep pitching, and they didn't have another pitcher or something, and they wanted me to keep pitching, so.
So in the fast pitch era, what teams did you play for?
I
Fast
played,
pitch softball.
I played for, I forget the name of the team even now.
Who were some of the players?
I kind of mixed up between baseball and softball.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll read a little bit to you here. From 1961 to 64, you performed for the Warren Beverage, at which time you were regarded the best in the area. You also played for Slugas and Witch Kitch. And in the summer, baseball was a focus as you performed for Warren Beverage again.
Yeah.
You captured the Pennsylvania, Ohio titles in 1963. Then in 64, you competed in a National Baseball Congress tournament in Wichita.
Right.
And there was a young pitcher and a future Hall of Famer named Tom Seaver,
Yeah.
star who made his mark with the Mets and the Reds. Not a bad guy.
No.
He did
He
all right.
pitched in that tournament down in Wichita there.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about him? I mean, was he good at the time?
Yeah, he was
stand
good,
out?
but I didn't remember his name or anything until I heard it after. But there was a guy I remember. They said he was really good pitcher and pitching in Wichita, Kansas there when we were playing, and I didn't remember what his name was, but it had to be him.
Winterburn received a certificate as being one of the 16 all-star players from Chautauqua County League to appear at the National Baseball Congress Tournament. Oh, man. And then you started playing softball, fast pitch in the late 50s, and then went to modified in the 60s. Everybody talked about the other night Jim Adamczak.
Yeah.
What does Jim Adamczak mean to a Bob Winterburn?
Well, he was the best pitcher I've seen around here pitching softball. There was some pretty good ones in Warren. They had this guy named Spiker and
Right.
can't remember the other guy's name, but he threw a drop like. But Adamczak was one of the better players that I remember playing softball.
Did you ever play with either Stravatos or Caesar House? Did they ever bring you in for tournaments to play with either of those two teams?
No, because I played first base, and they had their,
Right.
Ron Newbar played first base for them.
Yeah.
You were known as Gramps.
Yeah.
How did you get that moniker? Were you that old, much older, or did you have the look?
Al Ayers from high school started calling me that.
Really?
Yeah.
In high school you were called
Yeah,
Gramps?
sophomore.
Why? Why?
I guess I kind of slow moving around,
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That's not what I would have thought the answer was.
Yeah.
Me neither.
No, Mr. Ayers called me that in high school.
Wow, wow.
And it stuck with you.
Yeah.
Forever. People still call you that.
Oh yeah, I'm still Gramps. Some people don't
How
know
many
my.
times have you had to answer this question? How did you get your
I know,
name?
a lot of times.
A lot of times. And then eventually you did become a Gramps.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Years and years after, though.
Wow.
Oh, what a story.
I'm going to go continue because this is such a great resume. You are numerous most valuable player trophies in your distinguished career while hurling several no-hitters in both baseball and softball. One of your no-hitters in softball was a 10-0 win for Frewsburg Hotel over Mickey Rats.
Yeah,
In the
that was
Soch Modified
softball.
League. Yeah. You also pitched for Heinz Vending, which had great success. Did you travel on weekends with the softball modified? Did you go to a lot of tournaments?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Went to Oil City, and Corey had a tournament. And, Meadville had a tournament.
Right.
So there was a lot of tournaments in Pennsylvania. There wasn't hardly anything in New York State, but Pennsylvania was big on modified softball then.
Right. So,
And
well, just out of curiosity, Bob, what was the end of fast pitch softball? I mean, ultimately, that what we know kind of ended in the mid 70s, 1974,
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. I think there wasn't people taking up pitching and fast pitch.
Yeah.
I think it kind of they didn't have no teams didn't have enough pitchers. One team would have the best pitchers, and then the other team didn't have anybody to pitch hardly. So I think that's what happened mostly.
Yeah, what little at least I've read about it, it got down to about 4 teams, and essentially Adamczak,
Yeah,
he cleaned out everybody. He was just that good.
yeah. Yep.
And then modified, and I remember you coached, and not only pitched, but coached in
The
church league.
team, yeah.
Yeah. What team was that, Bob?
Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity, yeah. In that time period, I was with CMA, and Kenny Martin was our shortstop.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Dewey
yeah.
Westerberg, I was a catcher, and Ron Newbar was the pitcher.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Were you a player manager? did you play and manage the team?
Yeah, I played and managed. Yeah,
pitched.
a Holy Trinity.
Okay.
I
That seems unfair.
tried.
Seems unfair that he's playing in church league.
Well, I tried to bat against Bob.
You probably did good.
But yeah, that's where obviously there was a lot of talent in the church league
Oh yeah,
at that time.
it was good. Yeah.
In fact, there was a period of time where it was fast pitch church league. So went there to modified as well.
Yep.
A lot of good players.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we had Kenny Martin. That's all we really needed.
I know it. He was a sweeper at Georgetown. He'd get everything.
Yeah, we had our third baseman right on third base, just stand there, and then
Yeah.
Kenny will take care of the rest.
Yeah, I know it.
I think the first time I became aware of who Bob Winterburn was, he was playing basketball
Yeah.
for like the Witch Kitch team.
Yeah, I did.
And I just remember going to game. You guys were loaded.
Yeah, we were.
You had a lot of really good players.
We
What
had-
was that league called that you guys were playing in?
That was called Lake Shore, I think.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
But-
It was up around Fredonia. Well, John Swanson run it. He was from Casadega.
Yeah.
And we had some players from Casadega, Jerry Waite and George Wheeler, and we had a good team for up there.
I remember there was a pretty good team out of Sherman
Yeah,
that you guys used to have some good guy named Reed.
yeah.
And there were some other.
Junior Reed.
That's him.
and-
That's
yeah,
him.
Yeah, and Frank Waslink, and yeah, they had good players.
That seemed like a pretty big game when Witch Kitch had to play Sherman.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a good game, and Frank Waslink, he came here from I don't know where he was from, but he come here to coach Sherman.
Sherman
that's
Central.
That's how he come. He wasn't from here.
Uh,
So
Here's another reason why he's called Gramps. I'm just looking at a team picture here of modified. It was Heinz Vending, Jeff Bloomquist, Mark Edstrom,
yeah.
much younger than me,
yeah.
Bob Winterburn, Kenny Martin, Dan Massey, Mel Swanson, Veer Lindquist, Kevin Martin, Tim Brown, Yogi Kent, Walt Green, my God.
Wow.
And so there was the span of ages was
yeah,
dramatic. There was you and Kenny
Yeah.
over here,
Yeah,
and there was
right.
Walt Green, who was
yeah.
These kids.
kids.
Well, Kenny, he was older than me. He was
Yeah.
4 years older than
Oh.
I was. Yeah, Kenny was a nice guy.
So, Bob, as you reflect back, I'm looking at on your website, you got a lot of pictures of yourself with a beard, or an attempted beard.
Yeah, that's it. Attempted.
So what was sort of the highlight or two, Bob, when you look back and say, yeah, I did a lot of things. I played basketball, I played softball, I played baseball. Is there kind of a highlight game or two where you said, this is where I felt really good about things?
I don't know. I played so many games. I can't think of anything that really was a highlight. You know.
Yeah.
I played in the Army bases, and because when I was playing with the House of Dave, we went to the Army bases and played in Camp Lejeune and Fort Gordon, Georgia, and Fort Benning, Georgia, and some of the other ones. But there was always a huge crowd because, you know, the players or the people that was in the Army there, they'd come to the games, you know. And so it was always, Camp Lejeune had thousands of people there.
Well, you were a celebrity. I mean, I don't know of anybody, Bob, that I've ever met who played with the House of David.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, they had baseball teams as well as, basketball teams.
Yeah, they did.
Were you ever tempted, or did they ever ask you whether you wanted to play at the baseball team?
Yeah, they asked me if I wanted to play, but I really didn't want to do any more traveling, you know. I did it in the winter time, and I kind of wanted to be home in the summer, and they asked me to play in the baseball team.
And that was the schedules where the House of David basketball was out there during the winter time period, and then they had a baseball team which toured the country. Babe Ruth famously has a picture, putting on a fake beard.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
House of David.
yeah.
So,
Did you ever go to where House of David
No, I
was located up in Michigan? Did you
No.
ever go to their compound?
no, I didn't. Benton Harbor.
Yeah, never went
I
there.
never went there. No.
Tell me about the economics of it. What kind of money were you making back then playing basketball all over the
Well, I was
country?
making $600 a month.
$600 a month.
Yeah, and that was when I played. It was late '50s and early '60s.
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Plus they provided your housing and.
yeah.
Better than being an electrician, huh?
Yeah, I was at that time.
So after 4 years of doing that, did you decide not to do it again? Finally, you were done with it, or did they disband? I don't
No,
recall.
they still had a team, but I decided I got kind of tired of living in a hotel, and every night you're living in a different hotel. I mean, you play every day, and then at night you're in a different place to sleep, and I got kind of tired of that,
Did you have to, you just played seemingly every day, so there's no time to really practice other than just warm up?
No, you don't practice.
Warm up and play.
Yeah. You can't practice because sometimes you just get there before the game you just want to start,
Yeah.
So.
Were there any funny stories about not getting there on time, or the bus breaking down, or?
No,
anything?
we always got there in time.
Really?
Yep. And the years I played, they might have had some problems otherwise, but I never heard of anything.
Did you guys get paid a guaranteed amount to show up to play, or did you get a percentage of the
No,
gate?
they got guaranteed.
Got guaranteed
Yeah,
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did your paths ever cross at all with just the Globetrotters? I know you never played them, but Abe Saperstein was, of course, the big guy.
Yeah. No, we never crossed paths with them.
Yeah.
We crossed paths with the girls' team. They had there's some girls' teams that traveled. I don't remember what their names were.
All-American Redheads?
Yeah, All American Redheads. Yeah, yeah,
You saw those guys in passing?
yeah.
Did they have real red hair, Bob, or was that fake too?
Oh, some of it was fake.
Lucille Ball, ask her if she's a redhead. No. Wow. Gee, this is fantastic. Do you have, Bob, just the whole House of David just intrigues both of us. We were talking beforehand. Did they have programs? Did they have things they sold at games? I'm thinking of King and His Court, always had stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you likewise have stuff? Did you sign autographs? Did you do anything after the game?
Well, signed autographs, but we didn't have any of that kind of stuff, like programs or nothing.
Bob, what year did you get married?
I got married in '63.
Okay, 63, so this is after the House of David.
Yeah.
But you were still playing baseball, basketball,
Yeah, I played,
softball.
yeah.
What did your wife think about your crazy
She loved
sports
it.
schedule?
She loved it because she liked to go. She was a big fan.
And did you take your kids with you when you did all of these things too?
My mother used to watch the kids when they were real little.
Okay.
And then when they got bigger, then they'd go with me, go with. Yeah.
Well, I guess they had to go with, otherwise they'd never see Dad because he's out doing something every night of the week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give Carol a real shout out here because not only was she dedicated to you, but you to her. And I can remember so much because I grew up in Allen Park.
Yeah, I know you
my
did.
mother.
Yeah.
And my mom Gladys and Carol.
Oh,
were
yeah.
buds.
Yeah.
But you were there too. You were supportive of her
Yeah.
and her activities. You
Yeah.
ate all her hot dogs at the
Yeah, right.
municipal buy-in
Yeah,
counter,
right.
as did I.
That was left over.
It was all left over, yeah. Fudge, chocolate, all that stuff. I remember all that, Bob. I remember that. And then he would go ahead and strike me out at church
No, I
league
didn't.
softball, you know? You know, what a guy.
Bob, after you gave up playing competitive baseball, softball, and basketball, did you pick up other sports for recreation? Are you a golfer, a bowler, anything like that?
I played golf, but I never was real good at golf, but I played. I didn't start playing golf till I was done playing everything else, so you know, it's something you got to play a lot of to be good at. And I wasn't playing that much, but I got so I was decent, but I wasn't really good.
Here's what I remember about Bob Winterburn after sports. You'd go to a Jamestown high school or football game, and there would be you and
Yeah.
Bob Benson and Bob Jerstead and others on the lines,
Yeah.
holding it. Kenny
Yeah.
Martin too was
Yeah,
there.
Kenny was, yeah.
Yeah. How did you get involved as a member of the chain gang?
I used to go to the games, and then I'd sit behind Kenny, and I'd be on that side, on the other side of where the visitors used to
Right.
sit, and I sit behind Kenny when he was doing it, and then somebody quit, or I think somebody quit, and then they asked me if I'd do it. So I said, I'll do it. So I did that for 20-some years.
And sometimes not in the best of weather.
No. It was usually pretty good, though.
Did you do principally Jamestown games, or did you do other games?
No, just Jamestown. Yeah.
Who else was on that chain gang? I remember Kenny. I remember you.
Kenny and Gerstead, and my memory is terrible.
Well, Bob Benson, didn't he do it for a while?
Bob
too?
Benson did it for a while. Yeah, Bob Benson did it, and I'm trying to think who else did it.
Was that a volunteer position, or did you pick up a couple of dollars for doing that?
No, we got paid for doing it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
Did you ever become an official, like an umpire, a referee?
no.
Did you ever?
No,
Okay.
I never did.
Back to the chain gang, there were guys on the 10-yard markers, and then there's the guy that's ball placement.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a division of labor, or did you swap around?
Yeah, Kenny and I usually did the chains, and then we had Bob Jerstead. He did marker, and then there was a guy that put down where the ball was. You know, when they gained a few yards, they put the marker down there, a little something they had that said where it was, and here was my phone. I won't pay no attention to it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you do you recall in those 20-some years you did that? Because sometimes they bring out the chain, and the official puts it down. Where anybody ever suspected that somehow when you were placing the chains, think about that. It's subjective. You're looking at the ball because you guys place the chains.
Yeah.
I mean, you decide where it is. There's the ball. There's the field. Place the chain, and then you got to spread out 10 feet or 10 yards.
Yeah.
Where they said, wait a minute, you got the spot wrong. Did anybody ever, coaches or anybody, kind of get on your case?
Not really. I think there was one coach that did that, and from up Buffalo area there, and that said the spot wasn't right or something because they should have had a first down. He thought. So it was about that far from a first down.
Oh.
He says, "No wonder they didn't spot it right." So he didn't. I mean, that wasn't true, but he tried to say that.
Well, I'm just always curious because they're looking. All coaches are looking for an edge.
Yeah.
If they can get on your
Oh
case.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can imagine my coach, Tony Newton's doing that, saying, you know, make sure you
Yeah.
move the ball along.
Yeah.
Just curious. Never thought about it till right now. I never, ever had a reason to think about the chain gang.
Yeah.
How you do control that inch or two
Yeah, yeah.
by the original spot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. You're amazing, Bob. This is just so much fun.
Oh, thanks.
You've got a great memory from all that time. a
No,
long
my
time
memory's
ago.
not very good.
No, to the contrary. You pull a lot of stuff
don't
out of the air.
I don't have a good memory. I'm losing it.
Welcome to the crowd.
Yeah, we're all there.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, anything else?
No, guys, this has been wonderful. I thank you for coming. We finally got the Bob Winterburn story told by Bob Winterburn
On the House of David.
on the House of David.
We've been talking about that.
Oh, have you?
Because we say,
Yeah.
we don't know if anybody ever had the House of David story. And
No.
It's you. It's
Yeah.
you, Bob
Yeah.
Winterburn.
Yeah.
So thank you, Bob.
Thank you,
I'm going
Bob.
to take a picture of the two of you guys here.
Okay.
I'm going to